We just talked about the Marriott, right? And that deal being signed for the Abuja over in Nairobi. Big international hotel brands, such as the Marriott, have announced that new deals that will expand their frontiers of hospitality businesses across sub-Saharan Africa. Those announcements came Monday at the Africa Hotels Investment Conference in Nairobi, Kenya, where Transcorp Hotels PLC Chief Executive Modupe Olushola spoke extensively about the growth of the industry and how major challenges are being handled. Here's an excerpt. Take a listen.
Africa as a whole, sub-Saharan Africa, has huge potential. The hospitality sector remains untapped. The challenges obviously range from, access to long-term finance to even finding the actual resource to help in development. However, the potential also within that market space is also so enormous. We've got beautiful landscape, a welcoming culture. We've got, an undeveloped and an untapped market. Recently, from the COVID pandemic, what we saw was that there was an increase in domestic tourism market. Prior to now, you would find that a lot of Nigerians would be in a hurry to travel outside of the country to enjoy, sights and sounds in other locations. But what we found at Transcorp Hotels PLC was that we were able to actually create an environment for them where they could actually come and visit the hotel and enjoy the beautiful accommodation we had, the lifestyle spa, different activities across the hotel, our food and beverage outlets, and be in Nigeria and have a great experience. So it's untapped. We actually call on a lot of investors to really come and invest in Nigeria because there's so much potential, that remains for people to actually to tap into. I'm so optimistic because we have new leadership, we have a new president in place, and he's actually already done a lot of things, specifically in terms of the subsidy, which for decades was just there. And what we've seen from this is that it's going to release at least about $10 billion into the government to be able to channel into different infrastructure, from social to education to health and to infrastructure. All of those things are actually going to free up to ensure that people also, whilst one, it may challenge disposable income, but it's actually going to free up some of the challenges that we have in terms of the power sector, in terms of development into infrastructure. So once all of these things are done, you would see that the return on investment for people to invest in hospitality is going to be so much more attractive, because you would spend less on power and on energy. You would spend less on so much. So it means that the return to the bottom line is going to be much more attractive. So the thing about Africa is that for us now, right now, and in Nigeria in particular, it's a very attractive market to actually encourage people to invest in. For medium to long-term investment, there's actually, a lot of potential because the return on investment is going to be quite attractive. And because it's also a largely untapped market, looking at lifestyle offerings, looking at rooms, accommodation, looking at F&B, looking at, even health and fitness, looking at spa business, there's so much that needs to be done. And one of the key advantages that we have, Africa as a whole, and again in Nigeria, is the demographics. The youth, are hardworking, are committed, are dynamic, and are really, it's a key success factor that most developed economies do not have. Nigeria has that, and Africa has that as well. So it's great for us. It's a great time to invest in Nigeria. For me, again, so nice to hear from this session is that the potential of Africa, and saying that in the next, few years, Africa is going to be the one continent that everyone is going to be drawn into. There are a lot of things that we need to get right. Leadership needs to work. The potential for economic growth is there. The hospitality sector alone contributes about 6.9% right now, and the potential is to increase to over 9%. As Africa continues to diversify, we see that this hospitality sector is going to play a key role. Right now, in terms of even just employment within that sector, is so significant as well. So yes, it's easy to list the challenges, but again, the upside, there's no limit to the upside. And I think that is the economy that everyone looks into to actually invest in. The return on investment is significant. Again, the youthful population is key as as well. And one of the things that we're going to continue to look at is even the land, the arable land, for us to develop agriculture. And so the more we develop, it means that we can actually localize a lot more things. The more we correct all of these challenges that we have, the more the upside is going to be for investors as well. So yes, it's easy to list the challenges, but the potential is actually enormous. And we are so confident that the private sector, working closely with the government, and again closely with foreign direct investment, is really going to be the changing factor in ensuring that we're really able to deliver on the potential of Africa. I think these sessions again just talked so strongly about where Africa is going and the optimism of economic growth that is going to come from this continent remains really possible and is so exciting, and I'm glad to be a part of this. There's so much coming from Transcorp Hotels PLC. Like I mentioned, we're the leading hospitality brand. At the onset, before the COVID pandemic, we're doing numbers in terms of dollar revenue of about $43 million. When the COVID pandemic hit, we dropped to almost half in terms of revenue, about $21 million. From 2021, we almost, we regained, not actually regained, we started to do better in terms of revenue and even profitability, better than our pre-COVID numbers. And as of 2022, our figures are like $67 million in terms of revenue. So compare it to our pre-COVID. And in terms of even profitability, we're doing almost triple at $9.7 million in terms of our profit. And this is from one 677 location hotel and 133 room hotel in Calabar. So it just shows you a bit of what we're doing in terms of Transcorp Hotels PLC. But the potential again is significant, is huge. In terms of expansion, very quickly we're looking to there are a lot of events holding similar to this, holding in Nairobi, Kenya. There's no reason why it shouldn't hold in Nigeria, in Abuja. So in the first quarter of next year, we're actually launching a 3,500 to 5,000 capacity, top-notch 5-star event center. This is going to be mind-blowing because it means that in the same location, you get access to banqueting facilities to run your events. You get the rooms, you get the F&B outlets, you get the lifestyle, you get everything that you want in one location. We recently just had 60 heads of state and presidents at the hotel. They all stayed at Transcorp Hotels, Transcorp Hilton in Abuja. Imagine, the logistics, the security, and everything we had to put in place to make sure that it was successful. So again, that is one. We also have in our pipeline 2 possible hotels that we're looking to develop. One in Lagos, which is, really long way coming, should have been in place since, but we're quite excited about that. We've acquired more land, and this is going to be like a 350-room hotel, 5-star hotel also in Lagos, in Ikoyi. So this is exciting. We're also looking at ensuring that we can, just deliver a lot more in terms of lifestyle across Nigeria. So we're looking at Port Harcourt as well. So there are key cities across the nation that we're looking at, and we're quite excited about the potential and about the opportunities that exist for us in Nigeria to continue to deepen our space and to continue to be the leading hospitality brand in Nigeria and to expand beyond Nigeria to Africa in a very short time to come as well.